Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent, me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered. This week brought to you by Abode Homes as well, our kind sponsors of the week. They create modern and energy-efficient timber frame housing for the UK market, and these houses are really highly sustainable, really quick to erect as well. So they go up really fast and extremely adaptable. So if you've got ideas in your head that you want for your home and you want a house up on a plot of land that you own fairly quickly, well, these are the guys to speak to. And in addition to all of that, not only are they great timber homes quality, but actually go up really, really fast. The homes are also zero carbon status and also known for their fire resistance as well. So how cool is that? So if you want to know more, their details are in my links below. Give them a click and go and say hello to them and see how they're doing. But thank you very much to the people and the team behind Abode Homes for sponsoring Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered and all the content that comes out of it for this week. So on to the matter at hand. Who am I? I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency based in the UK. And what we do is we help brands and businesses create content that helps them stand out across their social media. Now, that content could be video, could be animation, aerial work, documentary style videos. It could be showcase videos for your website, all that kind of stuff that's going to really help improve your digital footprint, really help get your brand out there. And we help you create and come up with the creative ideas for that kind of content. But along with that, a few years ago, it became quite obvious to me that a lot of smaller brands, a lot of smaller businesses didn't necessarily realize what was possible for them to do themselves for free. So instead of necessarily pointing them towards Perception Studios or other agencies, I would just say, look, you can do this stuff, this, and this, and it won't cost you a penny, which is how I came up with my How to 9 Times Your Social Media process, which is a group I have on Facebook. I'll put the links into the comments in a little bit, but you can go and join the group. There's loads of hints and tips in there. I have a former number one book, which is available, and you can get it for free right now in that group. It's the first link in the group. Just go and click on that, fill in some details, get the book for free. Will not cost you a penny, and it'll just take you through the whole process I take my clients through to help them create content, how they can 9 times their social media easily with a bit of hard work. So it's not necessarily easily, but the process isn't difficult if you just spend a little bit of time learning some bits and pieces, and you can really easily make more content than you think, and get it going. Get your content, your brand out there, get more people talking about you, especially in these difficult times. We still don't really know what's going on. I know on Sunday in the UK, our Prime Minister is going to apparently give us a plan for the lockdown release, the slow lockdown release. But we've just got to not hold our breath on this kind of stuff at the moment, because who knows, there could, God forbid, be a second spike across the globe, and that will bring us into more lockdown. So we just have to take small baby steps at the moment and make sure that our businesses, our brands, keep still being at the forefront of people's mind, people's attention, which is why things like Abode Homes sponsoring the Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered content for the full week is great. We have somebody like that helping us keep creating this content, because the software that I use isn't cheap, but it's great to have them helping us get this content out to you so that I can help you keep creating more content for your brand and getting more stuff out there so more people know about who you are and what it is that you do. Good morning then on the comments to Rachel Tapping, who's watching on Facebook. It has been a while, Rachel, but thank you very much for joining us this morning. And hello as well to Scott Pugh, who was a guest on the live video stream the other day when we were testing out for him to show him how StreamYard actually works, which is the piece of software that I use to create these videos and pieces of content that you see on a daily basis. If you're interested in finding out more about StreamYard, there is a link in the comment section below and in the description box, and just go click on that and it will take you through to the StreamYard website, and you can find out more about them. They have a free version, a 2-stream version, and a 5-stream version. The 5-stream version is the one I'm using. It's all spells and whistles, and it is brilliant. And that's why this morning we are live on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook's How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, and the Perception Studios group as well. So thank you very much for joining us if you are watching on any of those streams. And don't forget as well, let us know that you're out there. There are people watching. I can see the numbers. So how about you drop me a comment, drop me a line, and just say, hi, I am Bob and I am watching in Arizona or wherever you might be. And we can give you a bit of a shout out, or you can come and join me on the live broadcast and discuss your brand, your business, and we could answer your social media questions, which is what today is all about, answering your questions about content, about social media, about your brand, about videos, trying to help you create more content. And today's subject matter specifically for me to talk to you about, so that we can fill a bit of time, is music, which is quite an important one, I feel. And this is something I've been quite interested in, especially even since back in my radio days. So there was never really a client I ever worked with that didn't say, right, okay, write the script, and you get the script put together. And then they would say, you know what, I'd really like X piece of music. And they wouldn't go for the type of music that you would necessarily use for an advert. They would go for, you know what, I love Queen Bohemian Rhapsody. Can we use that? Or, you know what, I'm a big fan of Avicii. Can we use some of his music? Because obviously that's their personal taste. That's their personal preference. And it might also portray the brand quite well as well, but also it might not. So there's quite a lot of things that go into choosing music for an advert. Number one, obviously, is making sure that it does associate with your brand. Is your brand quite youthful? In which case, do you want something that's upbeat? You don't want classical music on something that's aimed at 18-year-olds. You might find 18-year-olds are into classical music, but more than likely they want something a little bit more in your face, a little bit more upbeat. However, there are other ways of thinking about it as well and going, okay, I'm selling a classical music product to an 18-year-old. How do I get them tied into this content? Then you can start thinking, right, could I use something a little bit like two cellos, but not two cellos music? And we'll come to that in a second, to help them get interested in this content. There's lots of different ways of thinking about the music, but you've got to get, it's not a science choosing music. And this is a differentiation that I used to have with my old management, was choosing music is not a science. How you program music, if you're a radio station or what have you, is a science. But choosing music is a bit more of a feel. If you understand the brand enough, and you should understand your own brand, then you can understand what type of music will associate well with your customers and how they actually portray your brand and your business. Number one, can I very quickly apologize if there's any noise creeping in through the microphone? They're digging the road up outside my bedroom window right this very minute. So I've got everything closed, and I'm just fingers crossed it's not too loud. So anyway, moving on. So like I said, there was never a time really that they would not ask for a specific piece of music that really appealed to them, music that they liked, and what we would call commercial music you would hear on a commercial radio station or on the BBC, all those kind of places, but you would hear it and it is commercial music. So anything by the Beatles, for example, David Bowie, Elvis Presley, Elton John, the Queen, anybody who you know of who creates music, Muse, Radiohead, all that music is commercial music. But that also means that you cannot use it on a commercial without paying rights for that piece of music to be used on a commercial to the people who've written the song, and also the publishers, and so on and so forth. You have to pay the label, the publishers, the actual artists, the people who sing it, also the people who wrote it. They could be one and the same person, or you could have to pay money to another person as well to get their permission. And all these people have got to approve permissions as well. So, for example, you might have, I don't know, you might sell wardrobes, and your wardrobes are a middle-of-the-road brand. You think people love them, and people do love them, and they buy them from you. And then you say, right, okay, I want to use Queen's Don't Stop Me Now. So then you would have to get permission from Brian May, Roger. You would also have to get permission from the guy who's the bass player, who I can't remember for the life of me off the top of my head. And you'd also have to get permission from the Freddie Mercury estate. Then you'd have to get permission from the label, who own the piece of music still, if it's not Queen themselves. Then also the publishers. So you're talking about a lot of people in this process, and that becomes very, very costly. And so for a small 30-second advert, unless you have the budget and you're creating TV adverts and you're a big brand, a big business, this could very well bankrupt you in the first place. So if you're going to create any content, get the idea out of your head right now that you're going to use a piece of music that you already know and that you already like, and it's commercial music. Get it out of your head. Forget it. Unless you're a huge brand, in which case, have fun, spend 50 or 60 grand. And that's kind of the top amounts of money I'm talking about for like a 30-second commercial. So don't get me wrong, this is huge numbers for a small amount of music. But if you want to spend that, brilliant, great stuff. But if you don't, get it out of your head right now. Stop thinking commercial music and start thinking about different things like royalty-free music. Now, royalty-free music basically means you don't have all of the ins and outs to deal with. You literally pay either a website or the person who's created the piece of music a one-off license fee, and they allow you to use it. Now, there are different types of license fee connected to royalty-free music. Some people will give you permission to use their music just by paying them a small fee. And I'm going to show you my screen right now. And if we go here, share and... Dano songs. Okay, so I'm sharing a screen right now, and this is Dano songs, and Dano's songs royalty-free music. It's a great site. It used to be completely free. When I first started on YouTube, this guy used to create music and let you use it for free. Now, as you can see, you can click it for free to download and have a listen or try it in your project. That doesn't mean you can then publish your project without giving this guy some money. Pretty much, there's no free music out there that is worth using. There is a lot of free music, but you're very likely to find it's exceptionally tacky or just not worth using in your content. If you find something you do like, say, for example, on SoundCloud, and it's created by somebody, drop them an email, ask them the question, do you mind if I use your piece of music in my content? And I'll give you I'll give you a shout out in the description or mention that it's you. That kind of thing can go down quite well with some people, but a majority of people will ask for a small fee to cover the licensing. So Dano here, he asked for $10 for one song's license to publish in your media, and that means you can publish it anywhere. He hasn't put any T's and C's in the top there, or a $50 donation to use the music from the whole site. And I'm just going to give, I don't think I can play any of the music to you through my computer at the moment, but basically this is a really great site. The music is nice. It's not blow you away amazing, but it's decent enough. But the proof is in the pudding of the cost of the music. He's producing a lot of it. It's worth taking a look at. You might find something that you really want to use, but generally the music might sound, for one of a better way of putting it, and this is nothing against Dano because I think his music's really cool, a little bit cheaper than some of the other stuff you might hear. This is another website that I use, and this is one I pay a monthly subscription on. I pay $10 a month, and that allows me usage of all the music on all my social media sites. So I can use it on my YouTube site, my Facebook site, Twitter, Instagram, all those type of places. So this is epidemicsound.com. Great website yet again. And this one, like I say, you've got your monthly usage, or you can pay one-off fees for using music as well. Now, Dano, $10 a song. These guys are starting around about $70, $80 per track for you to have the rights to use it. Now, like I say, some have different usage rights. So that's for usage on one channel, on one piece of content on YouTube. You may have to pay that licensing over and over and over again to keep using that piece of content on different pieces of content. Just because you've downloaded it once doesn't necessarily you always own the ownership. So check the T's and C's that are behind that particular track, because some tracks will be different to others on different websites. But this is another great website. You can search for all different genres, all sorts of different moods. I do love Epidemic Sound. I use it on a regular basis, like I say. I was introduced to it by George Benson, but they have all different genres, just sound effects as well. It's a really great site. Check it out. Go and have a look, see what some of the music's like. You don't have to pay for any of it to listen to it. Create an account I've put a link in my pants if you're watching this on a replay, and if you're watching this live right now, I will put a link in my pants after the video has finished, and you can go and check it out. And if you want to sign up, use that link and it'll save you a few quid as well. And then the final site that I use as well is audiomicro.com. This is one of the first sites that I ever used. Some really, really cool music on here. Tracks written by Grammy-winning songwriters. So there's a lot of really cool stuff on here. These are some of the tracks that I've bought recently, well, in the past myself, for different clients. And you get an MP3 version or a WAV version. These ones are a little bit more middle of the road kind of price. These work out about £40 a track, which, to be fair, isn't too bad, really, is it? So you can use all of those, or if you want some completely free music when you're uploading content to YouTube, you could use their music library as well, which has got exponentially better since when I first started. It used to be absolutely freaking awful, but it's got a lot better. However, the usage rights are still solely for YouTube, so you can't then download that piece of content and stick it up on a Facebook and not potentially expect a copyright strike coming up against you. Okay, let's have a quick look at the comments before we go on a little bit more. Ed McIntyre, morning Simon, hope all's well. Lock start down, yeah, I can't even read it. It's taking that much of a toll on me at the moment. Yesterday, I woke up and I just felt crap. Yesterday, lockdown really started to take its toll. I love having time with Max, but having to look after him during the day, and then try and run the business at night and do things like this and stuff like this during the day, it's hard work. It really is. And yes, as he says, YouTube's audio library is great. It is absolutely brilliant. You've just got to remember, though, that it is only for YouTube content. You can't necessarily then take that piece of content and stick it in a load of other places without the potential of a copyright coming up against you, or somebody trying to raise a copyright issue against that piece of content. So just be aware of that. Might not necessarily happen, but just be aware that it potentially could do. But if you've not added music to your YouTube videos and you fancy doing it, dive into the YouTube editor. There is one in the background, and you can add music and drop the level down so you can still hear what you're saying. And yeah, it's really cool. It's the audio library is very good on YouTube. I 100% agree. If you've got any questions at all, and they don't have to be about music, just purely about social media or video or brand content, just drop me a comment in the platform that you're watching right now, whether it be Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching. Just drop a comment and we'll do our best to answer that question for you today. So going back into the land of royalty-free music at the moment, yeah, so there's a lot of different websites. Those are just a few of the websites that I've used in the past or do still use. I still use Audio Micro for a lot of my clients, and I still use Epidemic for my own content. So definitely go and check out those two sites. Dano Music, I haven't used him in years, but thought I would go and check out his site again for this video particularly. And he's got some really cool stuff on there, and there's a lot of music on there. And for the sake of $50, if you don't have a huge amount of money, you've got access to his entire back catalogue of music on there for $50. So what's that, about 45 quid? So you can get a lot of music for that kind of price, and it's ideal for if you've got no budget really, but you still want something a little bit nicer than just a nothingness background. Take a look at it and give that content a try as well. Now, one of the things I get a lot of people speaking to me about is, well, there are fair usage rates, you know, and there are. Absolutely, 100%. There are fair usage rights. You can use up to 10, 15, 30 seconds of a piece of commercial music in a YouTube video. However, fair usage rights is something that's more than likely going to be used in a court of law. So you can't necessarily really argue against a copyright strike coming up against your account for using a piece of music, or not necessarily copyright strike, because that's slightly different. 3 strikes and you're completely out on YouTube. But what YouTube will do is say, hang on a minute, you can't monetize your video for yourself. The money's going to have to go to the artist because you're using this piece of music. And that's absolutely fine. So you can kind of get away with that. Don't do it too often. Otherwise, YouTube gets a bit cheesed off and will definitely 100% penalize your account. However, you can, if you want, use that in a court of law. So if somebody says to you, right, okay, we're going to take you to court, then fine, you can kind of use that in a court of law and try and get away with the fact that you were using that piece of content. Sorry, my door is going off. I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen and share my holding screen. Here we go. Okay. We're back. Okay, this could be interesting. Max is screaming his brains out at the moment, so I may have to end the broadcast, but fingers crossed I don't. Oh, man, not ideal. Okay, let's just keep going. Hopefully he's just crying in his sleep. I went in and checked on him and he was kind of okay. Okay, so yes, fair usage. Absolutely, you can use content. However, to be 100% safe with your content, you really do need to consider just using royalty music. Royalty-free music is the way forward. Yes, there is a cost attached to it. Yes, it is going to end up being costly if you're making multiple pieces of content and they all need different music. But trust me, it's a far better way of going than ended up with copyright strikes against your content and nobody being able to see it. Because the problem is, even though there are fair usage rights, you could use a piece of music within your content and that content could get picked up by YouTube's copyright automation software, and then they can decide, right, okay, we're not going to show that video in certain countries, and that could hit you very much so if they say, right, okay, we're not going to show it in the UK at all. So if it's a UK artist, there's a very high chance they can say, right, we're just not going to show that piece of content to anybody in the UK, because the fact of the matter is, it's a UK artist. They should be making money from it. And yeah, you've got no right to use their music. So you've got to be very careful. That's why royalty-free music is exceptionally, exceptionally important. I think you should definitely look at using it for your brand, for your business, when you're making content. Okay, we do have some questions. I'm just going to have a listen out 1 second. Oh, he's not happy. Okay. Didn't really want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to call it a day on the live broadcast, which is not ideal. I know. I do apologize. We do have some questions from people. I'm going to do my best to answer them a little bit later on. However, until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. As always, every single day, I want to say a huge thank you to the guys and the team at Abode Housing as well. Their links are going to be in my pants. Go and click on those. Check out the great website that they've got and all the housing that they create. It's absolutely fantastic. And they've got some beautiful homes as well at the moment, including one over in Oxfordshire, which is just outstanding. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm sorry I've had to cut it short. Unfortunately, yet again, it was somebody buzzing our buzzer to leave a parcel. And these things can't be helped, unfortunately, in the situation that we're currently in. But yeah. Oh, hang on. No, he's still going. Right, I'm going to disappear. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, and we'll answer those questions that came in yesterday at tomorrow's broadcast. Thanks so much for watching again, and take care of yourselves and stay safe.